Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure to like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So it's the beginning of the month, it is February, and this means that we have to do a new prediction blitz. Yes, the midterms were not only in the calendar year of 2022, but we also have like 9 months, not even to go until the midterms. So I'm really excited. I think that it's definitely going to be a very favorable year for the right in this country. I think last year, we had the electoral wins, but in terms of like what happened to our country, it just was absolutely a downward spiral. And yes, we're going to see that too, but you're going to see a massive wave of anger at the current administration rise up, and it's going to elect a lot of people that are Republicans. But are they going to elect solid Republicans or the same pushover Republicans? Now, I'm sure we're going to get a mix of both, but the more that we can get in there that's actually solid, I consider it a massive net positive. So we're going to do the Senate prediction, talking about the Senate races here, explaining what's changed since last month, if anything, kind of go over it on a state-by-state basis and talk about who I think is going to win each race. But I have to tell you guys about today's sponsors. Obviously, can't make a video without mentioning redeaglepatriots.com. If you want exclusive Red Eagle Politics content, extra video or two a week. If you want to join the Discord to talk with fellow like-minded individuals about the pressing issues today, we have a community in there, and read all these exclusive articles and interviews, which I will be dropping one that I will have written myself later today. Make sure you sign up. redeaglepolitics.com, just 16 cents a day. That's nothing, 16 cents a day. That's it. And obviously, if you cannot afford it, maybe you're bad with saving. Maybe you're bad with saving and you can't afford redeaglepolitics.com. Well, guess what? Maybe you need to save your money in a more efficient manner at Noble Gold. Now, this year is going by pretty fast. You're a year closer to retirement, but are your savings a year closer? If they're not and you're worried you won't make it, get in touch with Noble Gold about putting your precious metals in your IRA or 401k. You won't get hassled. They'll just lay out your options. And this month, they're gifting a free 10th ounce solid gold American Eagle coin with any qualifying plan you start. Call 877-646-5347 or visit noblegoldinvestments.com. Again, noblegoldinvestments.com. So let's get into it. We're going to fill out the safe states first. You guys know how we do this, so we'll start off with the safe blue states: California, Oregon, Illinois, New York, Vermont, Connecticut, and Hawaii. Those are going to be the only safe blue states, actually. A very select few of them. And then we're going to do the safe red states. Obviously, the states in the Great Plains, the red wall, those are going to go red. Idaho, Utah, safe red. Alaska, safe red. Although there's a potential for Kelly Tshibaka to oust Lisa Murkowski in Alaska. I hope it happens. I have to clarify that. Same thing in South Dakota. Will John Thune get the Trump endorsement? Hopefully not. I don't believe he will, but we'll have to see. He's definitely somebody who has a big history in that state, but his approval ratings have dipped significantly, even among the right, so he might get primaried out. Same thing with Oklahoma and Lankford. Watch out for those primaries because they're important. Also, Missouri, that's going to be a contested open primary. Arkansas, Louisiana, Alabama, that's also going to be contested as an open primary, but Mo Brooks, hopefully, he seems to be the guy. Kentucky, Indiana, Ohio, another open primary. And Iowa, Chuck Grassley running again, even though he's like 823 years old. And then South Carolina will go Republican as well. So here we go, 46 to 43, 11 toss-up seats. Let's get some of these out of the way on the Democrat side in the likely column. Washington. You're going to say, why is Washington in the likely Democrat column? I don't believe that there's really any chance Washington flips, but if we are seeing a red wave that could be R+10, and the fact that you're looking at a lot of these polls, even like Dem internals having it be like D+12, D+13, it's possible that it could go likely Democrat. We're going to spice up the map and put something other than safe blue on the West Coast. Same thing with the Mid-Atlantic here in Maryland, because Larry Hogan appears to be running for Senate. Larry Hogan is an electoral juggernaut at the state level. Is he an electoral juggernaut at the federal level? Not necessarily, but Republicans in red wave years have historically done respectably well in Maryland. They have not come close to really winning, but they've been able to get it within 10. I think Hogan would lose by like around 10. Maybe he would lose by a safe margin at the end of the day, but right now, because the Democrats unpopular, I could see that getting under 10. But still, Democrats are going to hold it pretty much no matter what. Same thing with Colorado and what we see there with Michael Bennet. Just because the national environment is going to be favorable to Republicans, they will likely get it close, but they're not really going to have a real shot at picking it off, especially if Cory Gardner does not run. So there we go. We have 8 Senate seats to deal with. I guess we'll start off on the East Coast, as is tradition, work our way west, fill this map out. So New Hampshire, this is the change from last map. Because of the fact that we are expecting a national environment that could be extremely favorable for Republicans. Barris has it at R+7. Trafalgar has it at R+14. Let's even say it's R+8. All right, New Hampshire, Maggie Hassan is not Jeanne Shaheen when it comes to popularity. Now, Republicans can't find a challenger so far that really stands out. Does that mean they're going to lose? Not necessarily, because of the national environment. It's just, there's so many unknowns, but if it keeps going the way that it does, they could put up literally anybody and probably find a way to squeak out a victory. That's just how these things work. I mean, 2016, Ayotte, she essentially lost by like, a few hundred votes essentially, and that was a D+2 electorate. Yeah, I'm thinking that maybe they're not going to get a candidate that's as high profile as Ayotte, but they are going to get somebody who is capable of winning. So that's it for New Hampshire. Pennsylvania, this is a train wreck in the GOP primary. I'm not even kidding. Like, literally, as much as I trashed, like, Josh Mandel, like, if he was in Pennsylvania, he would be the easy choice because of how bad the Republican choices are. You have Dr. Oz, pro-BLM, pro-transgender children in 2010, pro-gun control, and then you have David McCormick, total globalist, pro-amnesty, just the whole thing. And I don't really trust either of these characters. They're literally just Toomey 2.0. Toomey is already a disaster. I really think that Republicans could find somebody. I don't know who the candidate's going to be. I like Gale, but he seems to not be running a campaign that's gaining a whole lot of traction right now. I still think it stays Republican because of the national environment and because Lamb is such a fake moderate and Fetterman is just downright awful. But either way, it's probably going to be like R+2, and I think that it's going to lag behind some other statewide races because of how bad the Republican choices are, but I still think it's going to go red. With a solid candidate, if we can find one, it would be Lenar, but right now we got to keep it at Tilt-R because of how bad the Republican choices are. North Carolina, it's probably going to be Ted Budd. Honestly, likely red in my opinion. Democrats aren't going to be able to field a super solid challenger. It's not like Roy Cooper's going for it. Obviously, Roy Cooper would still lose, mainly because of the national environment and because statewide races for the statewide level are different than federal level elections. But North Carolina, it's already like a Trump +2, Trump +3 state, even in the election years that we've seen it. Personally, I think it's going to go like R+6, R+7 in the midterms. Georgia, a lot of Georgia comes down to the Atlanta suburbs. If you do a little bit better in the Atlanta suburbs, you will do a lot better statewide if you're a Republican, or if you're really just on any side. But the bottom line is Herschel Walker is a folk hero in the state of Georgia. We know and understand this. He's basically got the nomination locked up. The primary polls have him at like 84%. Warnock had a lot of skeletons in his closet that were improperly exploited by the robotic Kelly Loeffler, who could only come up with the term radical liberal Raphael Warnock. And Herschel Walker brings a lot to the table. It's a red wave year. I'm thinking he might win by like 5, honestly. I really am, because of the fact that a lot of Democrats will be a little bit disillusioned, and the fact that even in some of these special elections in the Atlanta suburbs have been super favorable for Republicans, like out of nowhere, they're getting back to like 2010 margins. I still think that Republicans have a lower ceiling in Georgia compared to past midterm election cycles and just elections in general, but I think that Herschel Walker's going to win by like a Trump 2016 margin in Georgia for sure. So Florida, forgot to fill Florida out as safe. Rubio's not losing. Wisconsin's going to go likely Republican, in my opinion. Ron Johnson's going to win by close to 10. 2020 was essentially a fluke in Wisconsin. Johnson, is he perfect on every issue? Not necessarily, but he's pretty solid overall, and he stands up for Trump's base. He'll get Trump's base out in the rural areas. He'll also do very well in the WOW counties. That's going to be enough to win Wisconsin. So Nevada and Arizona. Arizona, Club for Growth today endorsed Blake Masters, which kind of throws me off a little bit because they typically endorse more like libertarian style, like economically very right-wing Republicans, but occasionally they'll make an endorsement of a relatively solid candidate. And when we look at Arizona and we see Masters going up against Brnovich, who could be an electoral disaster, by the way, he's won very close races in the past. I think it was in 2018, he beat a Bernie Sanders supporting no-name, underfunded AG candidate by only 3. Yes, I know it was a blue wave election year, but in 2014, his margin of victory wasn't much wider than Trump, the horrible candidate for Arizona. That's what the Brnovich supporters will say. Trump in Arizona barely outperformed him in 2014, which was a very favorable year. Low turnout on the Dem side, low turnout on both sides, but Democrats most affected. So Brnovich could be a liability for the base too, mainly because of the fact that he handled the post-election process so poorly. Trump called him out on it several times. He's trying to get on Trump's good side now, but we'll have to see. This primary, it's going to be interesting. That's really what it's going to come down to. Either way, I think Republicans are going to win the state by like 4 points or so over Mark Kelly, who is just a horrible politician compared to Sinema. At least Sinema pretends to be moderate sometimes. At least the optics that she puts forward, she can like pretend to be moderate, and a lot of conservatives will fall for it. Mark Kelly isn't even trying to do that. So that kind of tells you everything you need to know about Arizona. So Nevada, we talk so much, and this is a topic we've beaten to death regarding the Democratic Party, how they used to be one of the strongest in the country, the Nevada Dems, and now overnight they essentially have become the weakest. And they're trying to primary out their more establishment Congress people with like super far left radicals. And because they dummy mandered the map where you have like 3 districts that are like D+4 on like an average year, and it's a very red wave year, and all those districts are trending right anyways, it's pretty obvious that they don't know what they're doing. Catherine Cortez Masto, a little bit of an overrated incumbent. Laxalt's a solid candidate. Underrated candidate, I should add. Underrated. Great fit for Nevada. Personally, I think he will win by a lean margin. 54 for the Republicans, 46 for the Democrats. R+1 since my last prediction. But that's it for today's video. We'll do the governor's one next. So anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Like this video down below. Comment down below. Subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below. As always, guys, thanks for watching. Red Eagle, out.